What is up? Welcome. This show doesn't have a name. We're just going live because we want to hang out with you, the YouTube channel right here. If you are watching this on Twitter or Facebook, also thank you for tuning in there as well. But man, the fun place to be is right there on that YouTube channel. We have a great group of subscribers who we just love to hang out with. And if you are watching this through YouTube and you're one of those subscribers, thank you so much for your support. But also, you're missing out on some great content, especially from some of our other folks we have around the company, like Adam right here. You probably know him on Twitter. He's been around. Also, you're really active on Reddit too, aren't you?
Used to be.
Used to be? Okay, not as much anymore.
As I used to be. No.
Okay, I thought so. He is at Adam TZ. Yep, that's Sticky Z right there. That's he's known by that moniker for sure. And yeah, so good opportunity to get to know you. I see we got some questions going in already. We appreciate everybody. And you know what? We'll jump right in and get to those. Adam, you got anything else you want to talk about? But there's a lot of things I want to get to sure. That have to do with you. But I mean, yeah,
I'm happy to be here. Happy to be on the YouTubes, as the kids maybe call it. You know, this is a great opportunity for you know, more video content, which is like the wave of the future, I think, for sure.
Heck yeah. And I'm going to start putting some stuff in the background and make this look a little bit better. But let's start getting to some questions because that's what we're here for. We want to help you get your rosters ready for tomorrow. We're all excited about football. And James comes in. Thanks for the great content. And hey, thank you, James. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you making this post before we even went live. And if you're here joining us, go ahead, drop us a hello. Let us know that you're here. And we look forward to hanging out with you. He says, do I start Breece Hall or Kareem Hunt? Let's start with that one, and we'll get to the second part of his question right there. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm definitely. I mean, you know, he didn't mention. You know, I think the PPR half PPR comes into play a little bit for Kareem Hunt. But I definitely would be starting Kareem Hunt over a rookie running back who's, you know, I don't know if he's ran away with the job even in the small parts. Seems like Michael Carter is going to get in there a little bit. In Baltimore defense, you know, it is not what he used to be, but it's still pretty solid. So I would definitely be starting Kareem Hunt and kind of hoping for the best. I mean, it's you know, hopefully your flex spot that you're talking about, or maybe like a sort of a 0 RB thing. So I'd probably go in with Kareem Hunt there for me.
What's your take? I guess I want to talk a little bit about the Breece Hall situation. Good jumping off point here, because what's your take just on the fact that we've basically got nothing like incredible about Breece Hall out of reports, right? Like I don't feel like I remember a single like best player in camp, Breece Hall. Like, you know, like you get about some of these other guys. You get the comments the other day, Michael Carter is the heartbeat of this team. Things like that. Like, does that just, hey, preseason talk, like nothing to worry about? Like, are they trying to motivate the rookie? Are they trying to just...
I think we get a lot of times where these guys come out and it's like, you know, Saquon Barkley, he's going to be the best player we've had on our team for years, you know, and I think this draft class is just not even close to that level of hype. So I think maybe us as a community is kind of pumped up the 101 in non-super flex leagues and made it seem like this is the, you know, the guy you got to have. When I personally, I mean, he's great, but I don't know. And it is definitely concerning. And just that whole offense right now is a quagmire, you know, without Zach Wilson being there. And it's definitely concerning to me. I don't think I'm like, you know, ready to if he has a slow start, you know, I think that's not really a big concern to me. You know, if you believe in the talent and, you know, you drafted him, hopefully for part of it for that reason, then I wouldn't be too concerned if it's a slow burn. You know, all these guys, you know, they were the guys on campus, you know, they're the best player, you know, in their high school like state, you know, so it's like kind of getting to the NFL and realizing that, you know, maybe I'm not the best. Like I think it takes a little bit of time, and you know they don't want to you know give the ball to, like we saw with James Cook, you know, fumble. I think that was his first rush in the NFL, and you never know like what that's gonna. Yeah, you never know what that's gonna happen, right? So you never know like how that's gonna go. So I'm cool with it being a little bit of a slow burn.
It might have been his first snap. I mean, it was that like a little. Maybe his only. Did he get back on the field after that?
He did.
Okay. Yeah, that was tough. But yeah, I think maybe we just need to see it a little bit with him based on the reports and based on some of the things that we've seen. And Kareem Hunt's the veteran, and you know, I could tell a story where there's a lot of checkdowns at the end of the game on this, or maybe at the end of a half or something like that. And Kareem Hunt gets some of that work. So
Yeah, I mean, rotations are big, and they're going to be, it's kind of going to be a weird offense. They've been practicing with Watson, and they're not going to have him, obviously, so it's going to be kind of it's going to be a weird one. But I definitely feel like even if it's like in pure spelling of Nick Chubb, like he'll get plenty of work and plenty of rushes too, and he's shown like he can be a runner as well. It doesn't have to be just a PPR guy. Also,
I agree. I mean, I have my expectations for Brees Hall for the rest of the season are good, but I would start Kareem Hunt in this. Separate question: Jared Goff or Justin Fields for my QB2?
Boy, that's tough. They're definitely very close. Justin Fields is going to be. I think he's. I guess. Is it an away game or a home game for him? I know they're playing San Francisco, but
yeah, San Francisco, and it's at away. No, it's home.
It's home, but it's like kind of like not a lot of receivers. Like we don't really know. I think I'd probably start Fields, for the upside there, and just you never know what you're gonna get with Goff. I think we're really just hoping that he's gonna have a big volume season, and like every game is not gonna be that game. Every game is not gonna be a huge volume game for him. With the offense kind of in flux there too. So I'd probably be going Fields. Just hope you get some rushes and hope things go well for you. There's an opportunity, Jared Goff. They may get behind early. I think the Eagles look pretty could have a pretty good offense, and they may get behind early and have to throw a ton. That's possible, but I think the safer pick is going to be Fields for me.
Yeah,
to the upside.
I'm with you too. I mean, the over/under for that game is a lot higher in Philadelphia and Detroit, but I think it's going to be a lot of Philadelphia and not a lot of Detroit, unfortunately.
That's the hope.
But yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think you take the rushing upside that you get with Justin Fields and don't mess around. I think go ahead and play him.
Do you QB2? Do you kind of ever play that separately? I mean, I guess it kind of can depend on your matchup a little bit. If you've got a couple options for QB2, I mean, I like to go with the big shot there, QB2 for me for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I guess like if this was like Tua or something, maybe I would lean like something like that. But since it's Goff, I don't know. Like to me, the best case scenario for Goff is he gets behind, it's garbage time, they stop blitzing, and he's able to finally connect with those weapons he's got. Right? I think.
Right.
Outside of that, he's not typically super productive, unfortunately, for fantasy for me. So. Thanks for the question, James. And Scott, you too, man. Right before we started, I appreciate that. With a few of them in here, we're going to get to those. 12-team, single QB, half PPR. What are your thoughts on Joe Mixon this year? Do you think he will be a top 10 running back?
I mean, I would be very surprised if he were not. I mean, that offense is going to be humming along. Defense is pretty they didn't like get much better, but they definitely were solid to end the year last year. So I think they did some improving, but I think they'll just kind of be more cohesive as a unit. That's good field position. That's great for a running back. And if I mean that offense was one of the best last year, one of the most volume, had the most volume last year. So I would be shocked. I mean, there's not really anybody else on the roster that is like really going to be vulturing touches from him. They didn't go out and really sign anybody, didn't add anybody in the draft. So yeah, it's going to be his show. And if he's not top 10, I would be very surprised. It doesn't take much. I mean, if you play all 16 games, and you're in a good offense, you're going to be a top 5. Like that's all it really takes. Half PPR is going to be great for him. He gets the ball a ton in the passing game. A great option when you have stellar receivers taking all the coverage away from near the line of scrimmage. He's able to take those dump off passes and make one guy miss, and that's a 30-yard kind of dump off pass, and they design stuff for him too. The screen game they use him in. I would be very surprised.
I mean, just look like that's as good as Jamar Chase and as good as T. Higgins were last year. He still finishes the RB4, and then even if you look at points per game, he was 7th. So I mean, that's still really high for him, and I think about him in terms of we just needed him to stay healthy for a full season, which he did, and then Joe Burrow needed to stay healthy for a whole season, which he did. And as long as your expectations are that you're going to get that, I mean, to me, this is an offense I want a piece of. I just feel like the Cincinnati as a whole is just, I want as many shares of them as I can. And if he plays a full season, to me, there's no way he's not a top 10 running back. I just think he's, like you said, they didn't replace him. There's nobody else for them to really give the ball to it, and if he did get hurt, I think they would just throw more, I think it's just
absolutely.
He's a good running back. D Magoon, thanks for taking the time. I got offered DK Metcalf and a would-be late first, I assume 2023, for Najee. 10-team, Superflex, half PPR, start 10. I'm in a semi-rebuild with 4 23 first already. Do I take it?
That is a tough one. At first, like if you cut off the I'm gonna rebuild, I already have 4 first, it's a big no for me. But I think DK is definitely in a weird spot not having a quarterback. Let's just say he doesn't have a quarterback. Like he does, but like he really doesn't. We don't know. Like sitting here today, maybe in like 5 weeks we can say, oh, it's okay. He's getting a ton of volume. They're throwing the ball, behind the line of scrimmage, and he's making moves, and he's getting a ton of volume that way. We don't know that yet, right? Sitting here today. I'm fine. I'm okay. I think I would probably go for it. Just because Najee's a little bit older to begin with. I mean, he came into the league. I mean, he's basically 27 already. I think he's only like 20, 23 or 24.
Not quite that, but yes, older people think yes.
Oh yes, he came in like a year or two older than most running backs do. So by the time all your first, if you're rebuilding, those players panning out, you're looking at he's getting close already to a second contract, and for most running backs, that's not going to happen. So I'm a little more inclined where like DK 3 years from now. I mean, obviously it's hard to predict anything. Could have even next year, like could have a good quarterback, could have more of a stable situation than he does today. So I'd be kind of inclined to go for that one. The half PPR, that stuff, the super flex, that's huge. I mean, if you're able to get 2 quarterbacks next year, 2 rookie quarterbacks, even if they're one's mediocre and one pans out, whether it's CJ Stroud or Bryce Young, or whoever else pops up through the process, but like, yeah, that would be huge to start a rebuild.
Yeah, no, and I think the fact that it's a rebuild does help, and I would tend towards the picks and the picks and the wide receiver, especially one like DK, where you don't love the quarterback situation. We do have a small sample where he was good with this quarterback last year, but who knows? Like you said, who knows exactly what's going to happen? But I bet on the talent and give me that pick because.
And I think, if you do any studs worth 3 firsts, I mean, I think you're getting close to that with Metcalf plus a late first. I think you're getting close to that. I mean, you could probably buy Metcalf for a single first these days from people. But again, we're playing Dynasty, right? We're talking about long time spans here. Just because DK is probably going to have maybe a mediocre year doesn't necessarily mean that, he's done, right? I mean, like this is a chance, also an opportunity, you could flip Metcalf maybe, there's more opportunities to do that with versus a running back that is very good. And maybe worth more coming down the stretch. People get hurt, and he's playing really well, and someone needs a running back to go for a run or something like that. There's opportunity there, but I think you're getting more of a short thing with the first. Not saying picks are short things, but you're getting a little bit more value now versus what could come from the other pieces.
No, I'm with you, and not to get all Dynasty strategy Scott Connor ish on you here, but like that first isn't going to lose value. You know what I mean? You're banking that value. You can always use it either whether through the draft or flip it for something else. I mean, that's not going to go down in value. If that Pittsburgh offense looks terrible, I mean, you could tell a story where Najee does lose value. So I mean, there's a world in which that, and then you also insulate it with DK. So in a rebuild, I don't mind that kind of a move. But 10-team, like the rest of the team's got to be pretty bad for you to be a rebuilder. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to
10 team's tough, man. 10-team, you got to be really good to like hang with everybody. So like I could see it, an opportunity where, if you have 4 first, you're probably the only person rebuilding. So I think there maybe is a bit of actually 5, right? If you're able to get this 5th one, so literally you half the league's firsts, like just to pick and choose and rebuild the team from scratch. In 2014, I had 5 first-round picks in the league, and that was a pretty good year for rookie picks. That's all those good wide receivers came out that year. So that team went forward to do extremely well. One of those picks was Blake Bortles, but he ended up being all right with the other picks. So yeah, good opportunities can be had. I mean, obviously they're not sure things, right? Like Blake Bortles, Eric Ebron, stuff like that. Like it does happen, but you're able to get some other good players as well, and kind of just rebuild a whole team just like that, which is great to be able to have a full first round is pretty cool, or half first round, but that's pretty cool, pretty fun to do. It's fun to talk about.
Yeah, 15 minutes in here, and I don't know how long we'll go tonight, but maybe depend on how many questions you guys have. But I told Adam before we started I was going to have some questions for him. I thought good opportunity to get to know some of the other contributors here at DLF. And I've got some questions that I'm going to roll out, and I'm going to get right back to your questions in the chat here when we're done. But so yeah, you're going to help us with get our rosters right. And I want the audience to get to know you here, Adam. So let's dive in. This is going to be the kind of lightning style questions and kind of about me.
I'm a long talker, so I don't know how lightning we're going to
get. Favorite football team, NFL? Philadelphia Eagles. Okay.
Yeah, easy.
Last year, were you oh man, I can't believe they traded Carson Wentz. We're stuck with Jalen Hurts, or were you all in?
No, I mean, I'm a very realistic Eagles fan. The second, I mean, you could tell that Wentz was just broken. Like he was pushing on every single throw. It was like, I'm getting my glory back right here on this, 60-yard bomb to Quez Watkins, in triple coverage. Like it's just, when you got cut bait, and it's not too hard in the NFL. You take, 2 years dead cap, and you can roll forward. I wasn't sure if Jalen Hurts is going to be the guy. I'm still not, totally sold. But if he doesn't do well this year, then boy, he's got everything. He's got the receivers, the amazing offensive line, offensive-minded head coach, an okay defense, but he's got pretty much anything you can ask for as a quarterback in the NFL these days. And so, really, if he doesn't do well, I'm fine with him just getting cut as well. Not cut, but traded or whatever. Second-round pick on a rookie deal. He's not really costing too much right now, which is awesome.
What should Jaguars fans expect from Doug Peterson?
I really like Doug Peterson. I mean, he brought a Super Bowl. It's really weird that he got fired 2 years later. That is very strange. Normally, that gives you at least 10 years of love. So it's crazy they went for a GM over a coach. But that's the business. It is a business league these days. So I would say, you're going to get a guy who is. I think he's a really good communicator. The players seem to really like him, respect him. I think he's good at hiring the right people at times. And unfortunately, sometimes you hire someone and they get moved to another team, and that you've kind of lost that thing. So it's kind of, there's a big question, what does Doug do? In the city, because he's sort of a delegator. But you get a running back rotation. He likes to do that. He brings in some older quarterback concepts from his time as a quarterback. He's pretty cool. I think he's somebody who sneakily does a lot of the Bill Belichick sneaky stuff without seeming too nefarious. A lot of injury stuff is oh yeah, it's week to week. Oh, and then 6 weeks of IR. So definitely keep that in mind. That's something that always stuck out with him. So he's good at kind of do what you got to do. Some coaches try to stay really above board. I think he's good at kind of doing what you got to do as a coach. So I would be very happy. I mean, he's the polar opposite from Urban Meyer. Polar opposite.
Well, in so many ways, that's an offense. I'm so excited for the reveal tomorrow because Urban Meyer, they were one of the slowest offenses in the NFL with Darrell Bevell and the way they were trying to do everything there. It was just it was just painful at times. And it was almost like they were trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do, man. It's just you got Trevor Lawrence, man. What are you doing? Pick up the pace.
He ran these crazy offenses at Ohio State, that were very fast and doing weird, crazy stuff with Braxton Miller and stuff like that. And you're just what is happening? I don't know. Maybe I think maybe he just tried to be too I'm an NFL now. I'm being an NFL guy,
right?
And didn't really bring all that college stuff. But
Peterson's going to be top 10 in most plays. So I mean, that offense is going to be a lot faster tomorrow. I can't wait for the reveal.
Yeah, big in the analytics. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
that's the best stuff too. Really jumped on board with that right away, and kind of expanded the analytics department, and for sure, great.
Who's your favorite?
Coach, actually, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Who's your favorite current NFL player?
Oh man, that's hard. It's not something I think about all the time. There's no one really jumping to mind for me, but I mean, I'm kind of my brain's going defense.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I like Darius Leonard a lot. I mean, he's a linebacker for the Colts, and he's just his nickname is Maniac. That's his nickname, and he definitely lives up to that. Dude's crazy. I think he was a 6th-round pick. He was a super late round pick, or maybe even undrafted. Was just been fighting and clawing for his whole career, and plays crazy fast. Really, really good player. So someone definitely jumps out. I mean, that's the defensive side of the ball. I was a big Travis Etienne fan. I still am. I really liked him in college, but I think he's a little tough to be in love with enough to be on all my dynasty rosters, which I did do, but I kind of divested a little bit.
Well, I tell you, you're going to love Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who the Saints just like gifted you with, and I don't understand why. As a Saints fan, I'm gonna miss that guy. So you're gonna love him. Okay, let's jump back into some questions here. We'll get back to some more questions about Adam. Scott asked another one here. 12-team half PPR: Dak, Barkley, Joe Mixon, CeeDee Lamb, AJ Brown, Higgins, Scary Terry, Mark Andrews. Don't have much depth. Should I trade a wide receiver for some depth pieces or relax with what I have? Also, I have 223 first.
Yeah, it's hard to say without like seeing the whole team, right? Because it's more than just your, starting lineup that kind of goes into it. But I would say Barkley, Mixon, Lamb. Yeah, I mean, I would maybe look at moving. It depends, right? I mean, so AJ Brown is somebody who. The value is like sky high right now. Not saying that he's not going to be great. I think ADP he's like wide receiver 5 right now. I'm looking at it, and that's why I know. I don't just know off the top of my head. I wish I did, but but like that's really high. I think that's really high for him. There's definitely injury concerns there. He's still super young, but if you're able to maybe flip him for even like an Eckler, something like that. I wouldn't go Dalvin Cook, but you've already got Mixon. Or go a little bit lower and get like Chubb plus something else. I think you're maybe doing all right. I mean, I don't think I mean, right. At some point we have to try to win, right? And I don't think wide receivers are great because they hold their value for such a long time. Half PPR league. But if that was one move that you were kind of considering, if you had a bunch of wide receivers and if you have guys you didn't list that are like on the way up as well, then if you're starters in that spot, Michael Gallup's of the world, maybe there's opportunity there. That's what I would say. He's somebody who. Him and T. Higgins, I think, are two guys. Even CeeDee Lamb, I think, that are pretty getting close to peak value.
Yeah, I like that. And this is a good team. I feel like relax is probably the right option on this, if I had to say. I mean, I'm not a huge Terry McLaurin guy for this season. I love him like overall, but I mean, I don't know about his partnership there with Carson Wentz. We'll see how that goes. But I between Terry McLaurin and I'm just scared of the Giants offense and Saquon Barkley and some of the things there. So if you could pair those up and maybe tier up into a better running back or something, or but overall, I think just maybe be patient with this one. And if you find yourself in a position where you are a contender, you've got some first to play around with, but don't worry about them now. Like we want the best roster at the end of the season, not at the beginning. So
that's the best way to put it for sure. If it's like a start 2, like running backs, and it depends on who's that third guy, right? Like if it's someone who's Kareem Hunt, we talked about at the top of this whole shindig, something like that. Some guy who you don't really want to have to start him if you don't have to, but it's okay depth. Then it definitely considers a little bit. I agree with you with Scary Terry. His value and stuff like that. So definitely interesting one. I like Barkley. Actually, I'm a big like regression to the mean type person. I'm really hoping the Giants are like regress a little bit to like back to being decent or medium, at least not like completely terrible. But it comes down to Daniel Jones, which is a little spooky. But you hope that it's a little bit more exciting there.
So real quick, Darzine, yes, we definitely very quickly get behind on Tuesdays. We do the same thing I know when Wednesdays, Peter and those guys do as well. And we definitely we'll try to get to as many of these as we can. Sorry about that. And we'll cut some of the extras here. We'll try to get to as many questions as we can. So
we're here for the people.
We're here for you.
Don't hear from me.
So, okay, let me jump back to where we were. So yeah, here we go. Des the Prez, 12-team PPR. I have Jerry Jeudy, Juju, Elijah Moore, and Waddle. Which 3 do you start? Ooh, here we go.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Jeudy, Juju, and Waddle. I'm not like Joe Flacco, and that whole offense doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies. For me, I don't even need to know the matchups, offhand. But I feel like Jeudy in PPR league is gonna have a great year. Juju is gonna have a great year in PPR, and I think Waddle. I think we're gonna see interesting things. And I think, Tyreek Hill again is like taking all of the attention away. And like, obviously he can still be open with, with double coverage. Like he gets open all the time like that. But I think Waddle is going to have a lot of opportunity. Maybe more like some of the manufactured touches and stuff. Like I don't necessarily think that, it's going to be entirely the Tyreek Hill show. I think Waddle is going to work in there really well. So that would be my 3.
I think I would prefer to have Elijah Moore than Juju Smith-Schuster. Honestly, just I kind of want to see it there first with the change. That's my only thing. So I think I'd go Judy, Elijah Moore, and Waddle. So Dez Perez, hopefully that I think it's between those two. I think you're right. Judy and Waddle to me would be automatic, and then I'd be looking at the other two, and so maybe flip a coin, Dez, if you got to. Darzine, Travis Etienne, Darnell Mooney, Sutton, or Pearson week 1. Already have Russ and Javonte, so I'm a little hesitant to start Sutton as well.
You didn't put in the PPR, but that's okay. I mean,
assume PPR. If somebody doesn't say, I'm just going to assume PPR.
You just assume full PPR?
Yeah. Yes. That's
okay.
If they don't say, that's what I'm going to assume. Like,
okay.
If you guys want me to, or want us to consider it a different way.
Yeah. Oh boy. Well, I'm definitely not starting Mooney. That's the easy out. I'm probably not starting Etienne either, just because like you said, we want to see the offense. So we don't really know. So it comes to Sutton or Pierce. I might go Pierce here. I'm a big Sutton fan. I want to see his like the kind of the way the offense shapes around with him and Judy and what they're going to do, and the Javonte also that you've got here. So that's a little bit concerning to put all your eggs in one basket. So I would probably go with Pierce here.
Yes, I can see that. I think I want to go Sutton. I mean, I know that's gives you 3 Broncos, but I don't know. I feel like they got something to prove. And look, we could be completely shocked, and Seattle could like beat the Broncos, I guess, tomorrow. But I just am not necessarily expecting that. And
no, definitely not.
I think you're going to be. I think Russ is going to be very happy to go out there and unveil the offense, and all the reports have been that that's been his guy. He's just been connecting with all the whole time, and I think him and Judy and all those guys are going to have a good game. So I think that's who I would go with.
Yeah, I think Etienne's really a good one. Also, I would put those, consider those a little bit as well.
Yeah, Darzine, you built a good team. If these are your last options,
yeah, these are the depth guys.
In a 16 passing TD league, should I start Tua or Matt Ryan in my super flex spot?
Okay, so Tua's playing the Patriots. That's gonna be a big no for me. And Matt Ryan's playing against Houston, so I think in terms of like defensive strength, right? Like I feel like Matt Ryan's got a much better matchup. Tua obviously has weapons, probably many more weapons than Matt Ryan has. Matt Ryan's gonna be the handoff to Jonathan Taylor guy. But I feel much safer starting Matt Ryan going into the first week of the season.
So do you want to know what Tua his record is against the Patriots?
I feel like it's like sneaky good. So
3-0. He's 3 wins,
wow,
no
okay,
losses. Now the offensive numbers aren't very good, but one of those in 2020 when I guess Devontae Parker was the only guy, and a couple of them there.
Right.
Oh, one in 2021. Oh, yeah. So I guess actually both of them in the 21 season. He had a touchdown in each. They weren't very good fantasy days. He does now have Tyreek Hill, and I'm worried about the Patriots. Dude, Matt Patricia is calling plays.
Yeah.
What is happening? I feel like if that was happening anywhere but New England, we would be freaking out about Matt Patricia play calling somewhere, right? I mean, like if that was happening in Cincinnati, well, we'd be like, "What are you doing, Cincinnati?" Like,
right?
Oh, hang on. I'm still here. Hang on. That's my. Sorry.
I'll know it's cool. I'll there you go. I agree. Definitely concerned about New England a lot. And like to his the W's are not all on him. They so I guess he had decentish. And 109 yards in their Week 18 matchup.
Right.
That's not going to do so win you so well. Right, it's the touchdowns, right? Like, are they going to be in a 6-point league? I mean, I don't think Matt Ryan's going to be doing a ton either. So definitely an iffy one. And this is more like normal, probably a normal question versus like my league's like my team's totally stacked. So I'm sticking with Matt Ryan.
Andy says, "What's up, guys? Not line up." Oh wait, he finishes his question here. Okay, there we go.
Oh, okay.
Amari Cooper. What is his value for 16-team PPR Dynasty League? So I guess if you were trying to trade him away, is my guess here for Andy. What would you be looking to recoup if you had Amari Cooper?
Yeah, I mean, you said a trade decision I need to make before tomorrow's start. Now, is that because, trades go off or because, you want to start Amari Cooper? I would probably, he's somebody who I'd probably be waiting to make moves on just because I want to see him, with Watson. And, I think he still looked great. I think he started the preseason game, was looking really good, some good stuff in camp. So I think he's somebody who I think his value is depressed right now because of he's in Cleveland. He got traded or whatever. So yeah, I would if I had to trade him today. I don't feel like you could really get a better than a late first. I think that would probably be peak value for him. And I'd be like,
I'd be ecstatic to get that.
Yeah, that's what I think. I was going to say. I think a lot of people would be like, "Oh, if that was the price you were asking." So, when there's when people are very divided on a player, that's when you can never gonna get you feel like you get because they know that too. So it's maybe I would pay a first, but everyone around me would say don't pay a first. So then you may not get that deal you want. So I think he's somebody you want to wait and see kind of how he goes with Watson, and there could be really good more opportunity for his value to go up.
So here, I just pulled the trade finder on DLF, which you have access to if you're a Dynasty League football
it's amazing.
member. You should definitely check that out. So Amari Cooper was traded. These are real trades that happened. Amari Cooper or DeAndre Hopkins. PPR.
Wow, I'm talking about just Amari's 28. I think DeAndre's 30. So I would rather have I'd rather have DeAndre Hopkins. You're trading two older vets. Definitely going to a contender. I'd rather go with a player who I know is going to have 12 games of pretty good volume.
This doesn't look like a tight end premium, but it's Amari Cooper and David Njoku and a 23 third.
Oh, definitely Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
easy.
I think so too. Yeah,
that's a slam dunk.
Okay, this is Amari Cooper and Adam Thielen or Devonta Smith and David Njoku.
I'd probably take the two vets. I like Smith, especially in PPR leagues. I think he's going to be a lot more productive than people are expecting. But I'm going to go with the two veterans, and I think Thielen is a great I'm contending. Nobody wants him because he's 30, 31, or 32. I think actually 32 to start of the season. I think that's a perfect person you want to target when you're contending because nobody wants him, and he's going to have crazy good volume. Next to Justin Jefferson taking all the attention.
Let's jump over here. Tommy Gunn, start to full PPR, Adam Thielen, Brandon Cooks, or Ramondre Stevenson. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, see, Brandon Cooks is a weird one for me. He's a player I've never, ever been I love Brandon Cooks, even though he puts up 1,000 yards every year. And I think he has good rapport with David Mills. So I'm going to go with Thielen and Cooks. Stevenson, he's anointed as the starter when, Damon Harris played over him in pretty much the entire year last year. So I'm going to go with the two receivers.
I'm telling you, I'm picking against the Patriots in every look, maybe they'll shock me. I just am not starting somebody who's I don't want my fantasy team dependent on Matt Patricia in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean it's not going to be a sexy team. It's not. I don't think they're Mac Jones is nobody's going Mac Jones my QB1. Yeah, baby, let's go. It's kind of going to be it's going to be weird for sure.
The look, the beat writers normally are want to hype people up and they want to get clicks. That's what they want to go for, right? They're because players fans of the team, they want to be hyped about their team. But man, the conversation was we're a little worried. This doesn't look good. This feels like the offense should have been installed already and understood. Those are just not things you want to hear.
Definitely concerning, and it's going to just be a lot of running, which is good if you have the guy, but there's never been a guy, and even I'm a big David Harris fan, but even then it's I'm not feeling great about him either.
Yep. No, I'm with you. Let's see. Yeah, Darzine likes that. If you don't care about winning this year, 100% accept that trade. I'm not sure that's look, some people might not care about winning this year. They might want that 23 first to be higher. So I don't know. We'll see what it is. No Gold. Redraft PPR League need to start two of these three: Travis Etienne, Rashad Bateman, Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I'm definitely going the two, Etienne and Bateman. I think Bateman, obviously Marcus Brown's gone. It's going to be all by him. It's not. It's actually they actually have they're more volume passing than people consider. I think they were 18th or something last year.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah. people were like, oh, they never run, or they never throw, but that's like not true at all. So I'm liking Etienne and Bateman here. And again, like Elijah Moore, there's opportunity there. I mean, I think he could be a high volume target for Joe Flacco, but it's Joe Flacco against the Ravens. It's not. I mean, I don't know. Their line was -4 to start the week. I think it's already up to -7. So it moved pretty heavily.
A lot of people are nervous about Etienne based on what they saw out of Cam Akers this past week. That's kind of don't make it because of that. Don't make the decision because of Cam Akers.
They're two completely different things. I would be worried about Etienne long term because of the way Doug Peterson clearly likes to do things, which is a running back by rotation. James Robinson, I think he's ready to go. I don't know, we're getting very close to it, which is crazy coming off the late season injury. So I'm a little concerned for like next year and his career in Jacksonville, but for this week, like I think he'll be used pretty heavily and like they want to run the ball. They want to get the goal of Doug Peterson offense is to get into third and manageable, because when you're in third and manageable, your fourth downs are even easier, and they're going to go for it on fourth down. So if you're in 3rd and 5 and you can pick up 4 yards and you go for it 4 and 1, which is a very high success plays that you have in your book, then that's kind of what they want to do. They're thinking like we have 4 downs here instead of just 3.
Good stuff. B Sizzle, Damian Pierce, Damian Harris, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, J.K. Dobbins. So I assume if you have to start one, I assume that's what he's saying.
I think 2. Let's go 2.
Okay, 2. Let's do 2.
I would be starting. I'm a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, like, not lover, but apologist. Okay. I don't know. I just think we've sworn. Like, I'm a big fan of like hype and then post hype, and then that's where I'm in. I'm always on the post. Like when someone's super hated, that's when I'm in, because that's when the value's there. So I've kind of swung around on him. And then like there's good hype around him a little bit. So I'm gonna go with Pierce. It's hard to not start J.K. Dobbins. So I'll go with CH and J.K. Dobbins. Though I think like realistically, who has the best week 1? It's probably Pierce and Dobbins.
Yeah, Pierce and CEH is probably who I like the most, only because J.K. Dobbins, I'm a little worried about his status for tomorrow. He's one of the ones you would definitely need to watch for on the inactives, on his health. I know he's questionable.
I forgot that he had a little tomorrow. Yeah, he had a little question mark.
Yeah, so that's the only. So with him, I don't know. I kind of want to see it just based on the way things. What's been said, but dude, it's so funny with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Like I feel like if you say like. I said on Twitter literally that he was younger than Isaiah Pacheco, which he is, which is crazy. Because I find it interesting. And people were like threatened by that. They were like, oh, what are you saying? Like, he sucks.
I mean, the MVP is RB 28, which is like the starting running back on a very high, potentially high-powered offense. Andy Reid, running back. Like, say we will. Obviously, he fell on his face last year, but it's like I'm back in at RB 28. That's free money.
Look, all the talk about former Eagles head coaches right here. This Andy Reid talk here. He's one of the smartest head coaches in all of football. So there's so many reports about him wanting to get back to how he could run the ball when he was in Philadelphia, and like feeling like defenses have figured out his run game as constituted in Kansas City, and that's why he's steered away from that a little bit. So I'm interested in that too. Like Clyde Edwards-Helaire could have a better game/season than people think. So here we go. Des the Prez, 12 team Superflex. What is the minimum you would accept for Mahomes in a Superflex 12 team PPR?
I mean, like firstborn, is that where we're at? Yeah, I mean, if I'm like, I actually have a league that I'm in a Debbie. It's like a Debbie league, but my team, I picked up a team and it was totally like the guy wasn't there for like 3 years basically. And I have Mahomes, and like that's like my one big chip, and it's tough because in my mind I'm like I want to get as much as possible, but at the same time, like 10 years from now he'll still be playing at a high level because he's Patrick Mahomes. I mean, obviously, of course, like we can't say that with 100% certainty, but young player, like obviously he'll be playing for a while. Quarterbacks play so long. So I'm like not like that crazy to move in, right? So minimum, I really would need like another quarterback, a young quarterback, like two good wide receivers. I think if I'm in like a rebuild type situation, that's really the only way. I mean, I want like. I mean, I almost say Kyler Murray. I think that's a little high, but like, even like Dak Prescott and, I'm just scanning the list. yeah, like Dak Prescott, T Higgins, which is like so much. Like that's a lot. No one's paying. Like no one's gonna pay that much, you know. So you're never really gonna get like really what you want. So he's just not someone like, oh, a fire sale. Like I'm not. He's someone I would never even sell in a fire sale, you know, because there's no point.
I also kind of think, I sort of think he could be the MVP this year too. I kind of have like a sneaky feeling like Kansas City. People think Kansas City isn't going to be as good this year because they got rid of Tyreek Hill, and I don't think wide receivers cause that much in terms of winning and losing. I just don't think they're. If it was a baseball war, I don't think losing a wide receiver counts as much as we think it does.
We'll definitely find out, right? Because it's like, is it all these? Is it Kelsey and Hill, or is it all on Pat? Which is like definitely the question. But like I think when you give someone a 10-year contract, everyone's kind of just like, it's Pat. Like he's the one that's doing it. And like last year we kind of didn't see as big of an offense, and it'll be very, very interesting to kind of how Juju, Sky Moore, like how the people they brought in to kind of like keep things going will be very, very, very interesting. And again, like, if for me, like if I had Pat Mahomes and, maybe the rest of my team's not so good, if I could break him down into another quarterback and running back something else, like that is the only way I would do it. It would have to be someone I'm very comfortable with and feel very good about their future at quarterback. That's the only way I would do it.
A couple of quick Patrick Mahomes trades from the trade finder here. Patrick Mahomes and Darnell Mooney for Matt Corral, Baker Mayfield, DK Metcalf, a 23 first and a 23 second.
No, I don't think that's really too close at all.
I don't think it's enough. Yeah, I don't think it's enough.
I mean, even like Mooney has some, there's some legs to that, So yeah, I don't think you're really getting much there.
Oh, this is interesting. Pat Mahomes, Josh Jacobs, and Jerry Jeudy, or Kyler Murray, Cam Akers. This is pre Thursday night. Treylon Burks and a 23 first.
Yeah, I mean, that is something closer to where I want to be. A couple players I'm not super in love with like Josh Jacobs, and then you're getting, before Thursday, an okay running back and,
Kyler Murray,
really good.
Right?
Yeah, Kyler Murray is huge.
Yeah.
Because the difference for me, like quarterbacks, like, sorry, I don't want to go on too long because I know we got a lot of questions to get to, but like the PPG between, quarterback 4 and 14 or 4 and 12 is not that much. Like it's like, 6 points maybe in that huge span, which like week to week, is 6 points going to matter? Maybe it depends on your lineups and all that stuff, but probably not. So it's like really like going from, QB 2 in Mahomes to QB 4 in Murray is like, that's not that big of a drop. So if you're able to get more on top of that, then you're feeling pretty awesome.
Russ checking in from Facebook, holding it down over there. Appreciate you, Russ. Deontay Johnson or Jalen Waddle?
Is that like to start? I guess.
Yeah, I would say to start.
Or in Dynasty. Okay. Waddle. I'm very concerned for the Pittsburgh offense with Trubisky. Like they're figuring it out still, and yeah, Johnson. Like just it's an avoid for me. So I'll go Waddle.
Yeah, I like both. I'm not quite as worried. I understand the worry, but Waddle's one of my favorite receivers for sure. Cole Studios has a DST question.
Defense.
Are you opposed to DST questions? Because I know you like IDP.
Well, defense is like kind of like a slap in the face to IDP a little bit, but just a small touch because it's like definitely that's an easy one. I think I think that one's gonna be San Francisco, just because I think you've got to hire like defense. DST is so dumb, but it's like you really need like big plays. And I think you're probably going to get some more, sacks and interceptions and stuff at Justin Fields, I think, if it goes that way.
Yep. I agree with you. Sean says 12-team Superflex Dynasty traded Saquon Barkley, Michael Thomas, and Albert O for Breece Hall and Cortland Sutton. Thoughts?
I mean, I don't want to be negative on your trade. I think it's okay. I think you're definitely taking known for unknown. Which is fine. We do that. We gamble. I mean, this is Dynasty football. We're gambling all the time. So I'm cool with taking shots. I like Barkley this year. Obviously, he's going to be 26 very soon, which is not a good age for running backs. So I like going for the little bit younger in Breece Hall and Sutton. But yeah, I don't know. If you're like not like this crazy good competitive team, I'm cool with Sutton Breece Hall because you're not sure exactly what you're going to get.
Yeah, I like the Breece and Sutton partially because I think Barkley is his dynasty value is really going to depend a lot on this year. I think if he misses 4 games for an injury, like that could be very detrimental to him. Like I just think his ADP is very tenuous right now. Like
yeah.
I just think
he's RB9, right? He's RB9. He's two spots below Bryce Hall. It's I can see exactly what you're saying. Like if it doesn't go well, like yeah, for sure he's tumbling down to hang out with Alvin Kamara and stuff like that. And the teams.
Yep. Full PPR, start 1, Zeke, Mike Williams, or Hollywood Brown. Maybe the only receiver left in Arizona.
That's actually a tough one. I think I'll go with Marquise Brown. I think there's just the volumes, they're gonna need it somewhere. I think the opportunity will be there for him, and it's a good game. It'll be a good game, so it'll be a high-powered game. They're playing Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken, so that'll be could be a huge over/under. Opportunity for him. Zeke is fine. I don't think you're getting a lot of PPR stuff for him. Mike Williams is a big question mark for his usage. When it's on, it's on, but when it's off, it's not so good.
Right. Addison Hayes in the house, giving his fire emojis. Appreciate that, Addison. Good to see you in here. And I agree with you. I want to go with Hollywood. How about the Eagles fan? Des Perez wants to know about your prediction for Miles Sanders.
Oh my God. Well, let me start scrolling down the ADP because, boy, does it not make any sense to me that his ADP is so low. His fantasy pro stuff is so low. It's like I think he was like RB like in the 30s. Yeah, he's the 29th flex spot. Oh no, RB 29. That doesn't make any sense. He's like the leading rusher on the team. They're supposed to be like this really good offense. Like I don't know where it's coming from. Is it Hurts that's supposed to run? Like no. So for his season, I think he's going to blow any projection out of the water. It's just very confusing to me. I was selling him last year because of the rotation, but now that it's gone so far the other way that it's obviously yes, it's gonna be a rotation. What very few backfields are not a rotation, in some form. So yeah, I'm a big Sanders believer. Future of the Eagles is not gonna be good. I mean, they're definitely on the side of smart money. So yeah, no running back's gonna survive in Philadelphia with sort of the way they do things, which is like, it doesn't pay to pay a running back. If you take a small deal, fine, maybe he stays, but yeah, you can find guys pretty much anywhere.
There's some questions that I wish we could spend more time on, and then some questions like this that are very easy. Antonio Gibson or Javonte Williams?
Yeah, I'm going Javonte.
Javonte Williams. Yeah. Ridley Truther, what's up, dude? Appreciate you tuning in. Hi, guys. Great to see that Saturday night commitment. What's one offseason narrative you're ready to see settled this year?
Wow. There's so many. I mean, we talked about Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I think that's like perfection for what it is. I mean, I'd love to see the Jalen Hurts, be worth Jalen Hurts, kind of what people have been paying for him all year. I think I wrote like last article I wrote was at the beginning of the offseason was about his value being so sky high. I think he was like QB8 at one point. So that was one where I definitely want to see him go up. I want to see Devontae Adams with the Raiders. I want to see where that leaves Carr. There's so many. So many.
Trey Lance is going to be
Debut.
Intimidated by Jimmy G being in the same room as him in meetings.
Oh man, I'm not a big Trey Lance fan, but that's a good one. I also like see like I shouldn't say this, but when people are really like gung ho about a player who I don't agree with when they don't do well, that feels good too.
Gosh, the Gabe Davis stuff is off to a bang, right? Like I mean, like
yes.
I think
that's everybody. One for sure.
Everybody has something they can say, like both sides. Like that's why I feel like this
16% target share, guy. Yeah. Right? Duh.
Oh, but he got a touchdown, 88 yards. It's like
it was a broken play. Yep.
Both sides.
Everything can be spun. Just don't forget that, people. You can make anything look like the way you want it to look.
Yep, that is exactly right. Deontay Johnson or Elijah Moore. So you guys, you're kind of fading if I'm picking up what you're putting down here.
Yeah, both, right? But I'll go with Moore here, just because at least I know Joe Flacco's competent enough.
Joey wants to know if he can start Wandale over Josh Jacobs in his flex tomorrow in a PPR.
You'd have to figure out if Kadarius Toney is like something happened to him. If he's about to lose his mind before the first game. That's the only way I would even consider that one.
Yeah, I go Jacobs, and honestly, there's been a lot of talk, but I kind of think Josh Jacobs could be utilized pretty well by Josh McDaniels. We'll see, but
Yeah,
that's my gut feeling. Phil wants to know Juju Smith-Schuster or Cam Akers in a trade. Oh wait, Juju or
yes,
Cam Akers and Trey Lance in a 1 QB.
Juju.
Ooh,
Juju
okay.
and Trey Lance.
Yeah, I can see that. In a 1 QB, I mean, obviously it diminishes the value of those QBs.
Oh, it's a trade. Okay, now I get it. Hold on. Okay. 1 QB, yeah. I'm still going to Juju here. After what we saw on Thursday, I'll stick with Juju. One quarterback, Trey Lance, that doesn't unless it's like a 16-team league or 32-team, no point for me.
I know. Part of me wants to buy low on Cam Akers, but
I would.
I'm also so scared.
I mean, it definitely is very concerning the usage, but we don't know everything right all the time.
Ian chiming in here. Oh, hey. Good to see you again here, Ian. Appreciate that. What's your long-term view on Cam Akers' value? Speaking of Cam Akers, seen Akers for 23 second and Akers for Jahan Dotson, etc. That's
so like I played Devy a good amount, and Cam Akers was like the number one Devy running back at times. He looked really good. He was usable. He was the starting running back through the playoffs. Someone told me I actually can't say he looked good, but he was starting running back through the playoffs last year. They clearly wanted to use him in the playoffs. So it's obviously a little concerning. So, I my only thinking is that he's not 100% healthy. When he touched the ball, he didn't look great either. So, yeah, I don't think I'm a big holder. I'll hold people for a long time. So I'm not rushing to move him. If you could buy him, yeah, 23 second and for Akers for Jahan Dotson, I think I'd rather have the second and Akers in that one.
Yeah, I think gosh, man. We know that Darrell Henderson is not a RB1, right? We know he's not going to be a fantasy RB1. I feel like that. People are going crazy about him starting, and I get it, but he had 70 yards and no touchdowns. It's not like he had this tremendous game. I know the Bills are tough, but they're at home, and there's going to be a lot of tough matchups. And
yeah. I try to not be reactionary. When you're reactionary, you usually are wrong. You usually miss something, and sometimes you get lucky, and sometimes you make a big move really quickly, and it works out well for you, right? So it does happen, but I feel like I'd rather wait, instead of go crazy off something.
Standard League start to DK Metcalf, Deontay Johnson, Elijah Moore, or Brandon Ayuk.
Okay, so it's no PPR, right? No half PPR, nothing. So you basically need yards and touchdowns. Who has the best opportunity for a touchdown there? It's probably Brandon Ayuk. So I'll be going with him and I'll go with him and Elijah Moore just because I stuck with him last time.
Yeah. Oh gosh, this is tough. Man, not DK? Who's covering DK this week? Who's covering DK?
Yeah.
Who's covering him on the Broncos, you think? Is he getting shadowed?
I would see I could see them putting even getting some help with the safety on him too. So yeah, no, I didn't see DK in there. So I definitely go DK and Ayuk. But I don't feel great about DK in touchdowns too. Has not really been his major big calling card either.
Yeah. Deontay, I feel like I'd go DK and Deontay, but I think you sound so low on Deontay. He wasn't.
Yeah, I've never been a fan.
He wasn't that bad.
His stats always surprised me.
Yeah, with Duck Hodges, that his rookie year, he wasn't that bad. He still commanded some targets, and yeah,
he's gonna get targets. He's good, but they've got a lot of options, and it's hard for me to really because we don't know where Trubisky's gonna want to go, and that is just so messy there. And the Broncos, like I mentioned, don't really have great corners, so DK for sure is a lock, I think.
SU 1 QB, half PPR, Derek Carr, 2:23 seconds versus a 23 first. Giving Carr, let's see. I am giving Carr and already have Deshaun and Herbert at QB in a 1 QB league.
Yeah, no, definitely the first there. QBs in a 1 QB league. You want to get whatever you can when you can. It's great to have Justin Herbert already. I don't think you really. I think you want to, maybe go and spend a third on Matt Ryan or something like that, and just have a competent backup for the bye week or any injuries and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm definitely on the 2023 first side.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, because I feel like if I can get a first right there, I know you get up the 2 seconds in Carr, but you're not going to miss that.
The seconds are super flex, because that pushes the quarterbacks, right? So the seconds in a 1 QB league are just total dart throws.
What's the season-long upside that you can see for DeAndre Swift?
Yeah, Swift I've kind of come around on Swift. I wasn't really his biggest fan, but able to be really good last year, I think kind of made me feel a lot better that it doesn't even matter. What the offense is. Maybe they probably take a step forward. Maybe, I mean, Jameson Williams going to the IR is pretty rough. So they're maybe a little bit more cohesive. I could see him, pretty much. It would be weird for him not to, if he plays similar amounts of games. It would be weird for him not to kind of match what he did last year.
I mean, his ceiling is RB1, right? I mean, catching up passes, and I mean, he's got that upside in him for sure. Stay healthy.
Easy.
That's one. Gosh, if you could have one dynamic player stay healthy all season, I'd love that. He'd be up there for me in terms of players I'd love to see.
I think for me it'd be Dalvin Cook for sure. For me, that's one where I love Dalvin Cook. Like my wife went to FSU. We watch a lot of the games. I love Dalvin Cook, but just can't stay healthy.
Start Juju, AJ Green. Oh gosh, I can't believe we're still talking about AJ Green. Robert Woods or Devonta Smith. Start one.
Oh, I'm definitely going Juju here. I think Woods is sneaky good. Just because I don't think Burks is kind of along yet to kind of be, and Woods is going to be the wide receiver one. But I like Juju here just because he's going to be commanding targets.
I'm surprised no Devonta Smith for you.
I like Devonta Smith, but it's another one where we don't really know. And if they're absolutely crushing the Lions, then I don't think they're going to get a ton of usage.
He was a favorite target of mine over the offseason to try to get, just because I feel like people were a little too low on him after a great rookie season. I mean, I know they went out and got AJ Brown, but they had nobody else. So I don't know that it hurts him to have AJ Brown there, especially if Jalen Hurts throws closer to what they were in the beginning of the season before they started just running the ball all the time, right?
I love Devonta Smith this year. I think he's him in single coverage he's going to be one-on-one with a lot of people. He's just going to tear up, CBTs and stuff like that all year. It's going to be really good.
Yep. Leo is in the house. What's up, Leo? Appreciate you tuning in. Let us know you're here. If you're hanging out, you let us know that you're here too. Jump in. We would love to.
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here too. Exactly. We up in here. Flowosaurus having tough time picking a tight end to start. Half PPR. Albert O, Gerald Everett, Irv Smith, Robert Tonyan, Austin Hooper.
Boy, that is actually very challenging. I mean, I kind of low risk. I feel like it's Tonyan here for me. But I'm all of a sudden through the redraft season, Albert O is on every single one of my redraft teams. I just think, Russ did use the tight end. They never really had anyone that was actually decent. So he used the tight end when he could, but I feel like Albert O is going to be a sneaky good tight end this year.
To me, Everett wouldn't be in this conversation. He's kind of you would be hoping for a touchdown if you had him. I don't feel like there's as much target upside. Hooper's the same way. I just don't think Hooper's necessarily that good of a tight end. We're still kind of hanging on to the Atlanta season that he had, and I don't know that I would like that. Tonyan, I think is interesting. Irv Smith, I want to see it. Between Tonyan and Albert O, those would be my two options, and I think I'd lean Albert O because I just feel like the upside would be a lot higher from him.
Worth it. Absolutely.
Yeah. Robert, 10 team, half PPR. Thoughts on trading Mixon and a mid to late 23 first, getting Javonte and a mid 23 second?
I think you're definitely on the plus side here. I don't know if I feel like you're going down to get to Javonte, and then you're also giving up a first and getting a second back.
So let's see. Now, in terms of DLF's ADP, Javonte is going as the RB5. Joe Mixon is the RB10. So from a value standpoint, I think maybe not from a point scoring standpoint, but I guess we'll see. It depends on how much. Oh gosh, everybody in Denver can't go off, right? Like this can't be one of those seasons where like everybody's great, right? Or can it?
I mean, it definitely could. I mean, I feel like Russ fundamentally is definitely wants to run the ball, though. We all want him to cook, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely could, and obviously Javonte gets a ton of the PPR love there. I just kind of feel more. I guess Mixon being 26 is definitely a big concern. But I just feel more safe with Mixon and sort of that offense over the Denver situation.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards the youth. So with Javonte being 22 and Joe Mixon being 26, I probably lean that side. I don't like giving up the first though. If I got to give up Mixon and the first, I don't think I'm doing that right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot. You get the second back, but again, it's not in a 10-team league. It's makes it a little less bad, but yeah, I just like the Mixon side.
What do you think about Juju in a vacuum? Sounds to me like you actually are kind of a fan of Juju Smith-Schuster here.
Again, it's one of those like flipped. Now I'm back the other way. For sure. Like when he was peak, I don't know what his peak ADP was. I mean, it was probably like wide receiver 6 or something, like 6 or 8. Like he went way up there after his rookie year. So then it fell back down, like all the way down. So I think it's too low on him. I mean, he's not saying he's gonna be Tyreek Hill, but considering their options, and what we thought, I assume he can do. My theory is that one, what's his name, Vontaze Burfict hit on him where he got knocked down in the field. Some part of me just feels like that ended Juju's career in a way. I don't think he has just never gone back to that level after that hit. So I'm definitely, I know that the worry is there. I know he has all the side stuff, and honestly, I believe that's extremely valid concern. Is that he has other stuff that he could go to and not have to play football. And so I think it's great. I think it's more players should have other stuff, but like it is concerning to his dynasty value. So again, all that being said, I'm big on him this year, and I think we'll see a huge value boost for him.
He in September of 2019 had an ADP of 6.5 according to DLF and Dynasty. ADP mock drafts. That's 6.5 overall, not wide receiver.
Yep.
That's overall.
He's wide receiver 36 right now.
Yes. And he's still 25, almost 26 years old.
Yeah, that's another thing too, for sure. People are taking Darnell Mooney over him. Darnell Mooney, who was like a waiver wire darling last year, was like, go to your waiver and check and see if Darnell Mooney is there. Yeah, we're talking about Juju Smith-Schuster, so it's
right. Now, okay, so look, I went from kind of I was out on him, like you said, when people were just talking him up like he was still that same guy, right? Like that they were still hanging on to that top 2-round pick or whatever that he was for a little while. I don't know that I swung as far. It sounds like you swung pretty far over maybe, and like kind of I talked myself into him having a potentially productive year here with Patrick Mahomes, but I don't think.
I mean, when you're Mahomes' new best target, I can see him jumping up to like 15, wide receiver 15, easy.
Yeah.
In the startups next year, which is the what have you done for me lately season. I could see him popping way up with an okay season, even if it's just okay, just being like tied to Mahomes for 4 years, I think, 3 years.
Yeah, but I agree with the overall. What are you saying here? Too low for the potential upside. I agree with that. That is 100% true for me. Skull Dynasty, somebody from Minnesota, I assume here. Would you trade Trey Lance if you have Allen and Herbert in Superflex? If so, what return would you ask? A 23 first and second, reasonable. This is in Superflex. That's too low, I think.
Yes, I think that is probably slightly too low. He's sort of a weird QB3 for me. He's not somebody that, for me personally, that I'd be like feeling great about. I think his risk is way too high for a QB3. Like, I love Mac Jones as a QB3. Like, give me somebody who I know is gonna be startable for a couple years. So first and second, I'd take it.
Would
I get a little
really?
more. Well, I wouldn't. The thing about it for him is like, if you can get that today, considering if he does well, then you can get a lot more. So yeah, but definitely don't need someone like Trey Lance with Allen and Herbert in Superflex. He's definitely a pick. Like, people picked him up for this exact reason, was upside, and I can trade him for more than I paid, because you probably paid a first, right? So, just getting another second on top of that, I don't know if that's fully like realizing that value.
I just think, like, look, obviously he's got Allen and Herbert here, so I get why he wants to make this trade. But I think we all agree Trey Lance has a high upside, but not thinking in terms of as an NFL quarterback, but as a fantasy football dynasty asset, I feel like his floor is very high too, because we got a San Francisco 49er team who paid a lot to get him. Like, Kyle Shanahan is very smart. He's going to make things work. I think, is there a chance they go back to Jimmy? Maybe. Like, I think this is maybe you're a little nervous about that, but he's still going to get another opportunity. Mitch Trubisky started for like 5 years and he was terrible. Okay. So, like, I just think Trey Lance is going to get enough opportunity. They're going to start him. I don't think this is a situation where they are going to just bench him and he's going to be done. I know Josh Rosen happened, but not everybody's Josh Rosen. Okay. Like, not.
Yeah. I mean, but then there's also the chance that he's just not that good. Like, kind of like Mitchell Trubisky was.
Well, right, but I still think as a dynasty asset, like, you still are then going to have value, because when he is starting and if he's playing, he's going to score fantasy points because of the rushing upside he's got. And that's one thing that I think Kyle Shanahan is going to be excited to do. Like, they had one of the best rushing offenses with Jimmy Garoppolo. If you add in that dynamic of that extra, like, there's an extra gap that the defense has to try and cover now because of because of the way the numbers work when you have a running quarterback. I just think they're going to run and be very good at running the football. And he just has to be competent at passing, which, the jury's still out, but I think he's going to get lots of opportunities and he's going to score fantasy points along the way.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to look at it for sure. Yeah. Because he's QB8 right now, so he probably could get a little bit more than a first and a second. And, that's a good point that he will probably, if he's at worst just a runner, then I think he'll do all right. He's like so little experience. Like, it just boggles my mind, like, this is where we're at with him. Like, QB8.
Yeah. Last year, everybody was out on Jalen Hurts, right? Because they were like, oh, what was it? 50% passer rating, 54% completion percentage, whatever it was.
But he played for Alabama and Oklahoma, and Trey Lance played in the D2. So it's like, kind of like, I don't know. I don't know. But I'll happily be wrong on Trey Lance, I think, is where I've come to him.
And the argument against him was like, was like, oh, he doesn't have the draft capital. They're definitely going to replace him. Well, this is like, what if he had draft capital? Because that's kind of what Trey Lance is right now, right? And I think, yes, there's a lot of questions. I know that, but obviously. But
it's funny, him and Justin Fields are kind of like, I feel like similar. And like, because we saw Fields be kind of then Trey Lance passed him, which is like kind of funny, which is definitely something like you have in the draft process too. Like, I'm not going to work out because I don't want people to see that I'm just kind of mediocre. It's better for people not to know. So that's one of the big offseason narratives for sure, is Trey Lance.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the unveiling of that. And it's against Chicago. Like, I feel like it's going to be good. We'll see. If it's not, I'm going to be worried. Like, I'm going to be very worried if he's not great against Chicago. 14-team Superflex Dynasty League, trade Kyler and Devin Duvernay for Deshaun Watson, Jacoby Brissett, Hollywood, and a 23 third.
Okay, so you get Brissett and Watson together. So basically, you traded Kyler and the Cleveland situation. I mean, I don't think that's like an even split there. So, that's a tough one. I think I'll go with Kyler here. I think I'll stick with the Kyler side on this one. That is close. I think.
I think it's
the third
close.
Doesn't really do much. Devin Duvernay that cancels out. So it's like, is Hollywood enough to bridge the gap between the Watson to Kyler? I don't think so.
In a 14-team league, I can understand maybe wanting to accumulate more assets like that, but I don't think this is the one I would want. Like, I don't mind tearing down from Kyler if you're trying to accomplish that. It's just, this isn't the one I would want, just because, look, Watson could be great. There's so many unknowns, I think, still. And, thinking about his, fantasy production, like sure, he could be a great quarterback. He also hasn't played in 2 years, right? So I mean, like, or whatever it's going to end up being, and that's.
I think you're taking a very low like value on points for him for this year, right? You have to be okay with that. And like Brissett is okay, but like if you have to be cool with like probably having a rough 10 games or whatever it is for Watson. I forget if it's 10 or 12, but you're having a rough stretch there. And while Kyler is like having good volume and being, a top 5 quarterback. So if you're cool with that, and you're getting some of it with Hollywood, so that is valuable there. So for this one, definitely a risk. Like how risk tolerant are you? Kind of how you go, because I'm risk averse, so I'd rather stick with the Kyler.
I'd rather tear down to Jalen Hurts or Trey Lance or something like that. If I'm going to make this move, like I just feel like I'd rather go a different direction if I'm trying to. I know what he's trying to accomplish. He's trying to like get more starters and bulk up his, starters, but this just isn't the way I'd do it. That's you. 1 QB, half PPR, TJ Hawkinson or Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams, like you said, went on IR.
Yeah, I'll take Williams here over Hawkinson. I think Hawkinson, is getting like default like love, but it just hasn't really happened yet. Tight end's rough. Tight end's weird. So I'll take the wide receiver, even if he's coming injuries. And we kind of thought he may be injured anyway, so it's kind of baked in his price.
Yeah, gosh, what a weird career in college Jameson Williams had, and it's off to an interesting start here. Yeah. Gosh, it's I don't know. I'm scared off of him. I feel like I'd still take Hawkinson, but I'm not a huge Hawkinson fan. I took a lot of heat for that last year, especially after week 2. But then I think he was like tight end 24 after that or something like that for the rest of the season. So.
Tight end is just I don't want any of those guys really in there.
Oh yeah, so he had Tanyan and let's see, it was Tanyan and Alberto, the 2 he had rostered.
Oh, okay, so, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
On the right track there, Flosaurus. Pick one to start: Jalen Tolbert, Jahan Dotson, Treylon Burks, or Sky Moore.
Dang, starting the rookies, not a good sign. I think isn't Tolbert like kind of may not be even playing, so that's definitely to monitor that one. Yeah. I want to go with Sky Moore. I think. Yeah, I'm not like a big. This year I haven't really been like glued to the camp, but I think I don't really want a part of like Carson Wentz third option or Treylon Burks. I'm not sure if he's ready in an offense that's just going to run the ball a lot, so I'll go with Sky Moore. I think Tolbert's good if he's playing. I'll probably go Tolbert and then Sky Moore.
It's so crazy that Tolbert ends up being in this conversation. But I love it. Like, I think that small school guy coming in, like making an impact, has got Dak throwing him the ball, has the, Sky Moore. I'm not sure how much he's going to see the field is my only question. Like for
sure.
I hope
his snap counts
a lot.
Hardman's going to play a lot probably over him. So yeah.
Because, you don't have Hill, but I think wide receiver, every other wide receiver is better than they had like wide receiver 2 on last season, I think is the, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what kind of rotation they get in there. I think Tolbert or Dotson might be the one I would go with there, but that's a tough one, Brandon. And maybe if this is your predicament, maybe you don't want to score as many points so you can get a better draft pick next year. We'll see. Who Dat Dude says, who dat? What's up? I'm so interested in seeing how the Saints open up tomorrow. They can't lose the Falcons. That's all I know.
Dude, I'm all about the Saints.
Are you?
I'm loving Olave. I'm loving Michael Thomas. Kamara didn't get suspended. They're gonna be humming.
I think they could, man. I think I am not a big Jameis. So Jameis Winston, I think if he's gonna be good for fantasy, it means the Saints had a really bad year. And really, I think that's
the plan. I don't know.
Sean Payton didn't trust him, and if they had completely overhauled the regime, like if there was like a completely new set of eyes there in New Orleans, like I feel like I might want to jump in and say let's air it out. But it's the same regime. Pete Carmichael was the OC last year. He's the OC this year. He was on pace to throw less than 400 pass attempts, which is like lower than Lamar Jackson's lowest season when 16 games, and that was a 17 game pace. He was very efficient because he had some of those high touchdown games. But I know they went out and got wide receivers. I'm just interested in seeing how that goes. But the defense is going to play well. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I like the pieces there. And I don't know. He's got to be as efficient. If he can prove he's that efficient, great. Then that's awesome.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you just don't know. Like, obviously, don't know what you get with Winston. So, it unfortunately does kind of come down to his dumb mistakes, right? Like, that's kind of what it is.
Yeah. Can he dig himself a hole early that he has to try to dig out of it?
Get out of in the fourth quarter, yeah.
Tommy Gun 14 team Dynasty full PPR league. I dropped N'Keal Harry. Okay, that's good. And Jamal Agnew. I kind of like Agnew a little bit, like on deep stash.
Yeah.
He got Travis Homer and Jordan Mason. Done with Harry. I think, yes, N'Keal Harry is a good drop for sure. Travis Homer, I don't know. I like the concept of rostering more running backs than wide receivers because they can potentially jump in value and you can either flip them for something else or like, so just from a dynasty strategy standpoint, I like it. I like adding Jordan Mason. I'd be curious if there were any other like potential backup valuable running backs than Travis Homer. I don't know. I just don't know. How old is Travis Homer now? I feel like he's been in the league for a long time.
He's got to be 26 or more.
Yeah. He's never been anything.
Yeah, I like Jordan Mason. I think, they kind of cleared house there a little bit in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So I think anyone kind of sticking has potential because, they're definitely going to run the ball a lot. So, if there's an injury, whatever, like Mitchell's had some injuries in the past. I think there's some opportunity there if you're able to stick. Yeah.
Travis Homer's 24. How? I feel like he's been for way too long to be 24 years old. That's crazy.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Okay. I don't know. You're not missing out on not rostering Harry for sure.
It's good to have that churn, man.
There. Yeah,
that churn is huge to kind of get those guys out. I'm fine like cutting bait a little early on a player. I forgot who I dropped, but everybody went crazy. I think it was Curtis Samuel I dropped, and everyone was like, "Why would you drop?"
Oh.
Like, what?
Yeah. No, there's no reason to hang on. That's a roster clogger. That's
what are you talking about?
Michael Matthews, better flex play, full PPR. Damian Pierce, Elijah Mitchell, or Elijah Moore.
Yeah, I would definitely look at the running backs here. Oh boy, that's tough. I think I'm gonna go. Like, Damian Pierce getting so much love, and I'm like, we can't all be wrong, right? Like, it's not possible. So I'm gonna go with Elijah Mitchell here, just because I think he's clearly like the better running back in a better situation on a better team. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Mitchell.
I feel like a lot of people could be disappointed in the Damian Pierce experience here. I don't know. Like, maybe he does great. I don't know. Maybe look, it would be great if he does, because I feel like Twitter is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow if he goes off, like I hope it's.
Yeah, I haven't seen too many people who are like straight up homers about him, which is good. Right. I think when there was like the Amir Abdullahs, when like he had his big spin move in the preseason and like it just everyone was like, I've been his fan since before, like whatever Bishop Sankey fans when he had like his little rise. People were just like, wow, I followed him since he was in high school. Like, we're best buddies. Like, no one's done that for Damian Pierce that I've really seen. So I'm cool with it. Like, whatever we get out of it is fine.
Yeah. Elijah Moore, yes. I definitely like him more than you do.
Yes. I like him, but I just like have serious concerns.
But I'm with you on Mitchell. So Ronti, Rashad Penny, Jahan Dotson, or David Njoku.
Yeah, I think PPR makes it a little interesting, but I'm definitely gonna go with Rashad Penny. I think he's clearly the lead guy there. I don't know if Kenneth Walker still has the non-hernia situation. If that's fully resolved. Yeah. So I would definitely go Penny here. A lot of David Njoku people got in the in their flex spots. I didn't know he was getting so much love. I mean, he's. I think when Watson's playing, I think he'll be better. But Jacoby Brissett, I'm not so excited about.
Yeah, Penny is who I'd go with here for sure, just because like he seems to be healthy right now, and by all accounts, he's going to be the starter with Kenneth Walker coming off that hernia surgery. It looks like he's questionable, was limited in practice today. It is the Monday game. So, it could go either way, but I'd just say, I'd say roll with Penny out of these options. Yeah. It's,
You get a lot of work. Whoever the main guy is there, you get a lot of runs. No doubt.
Jarvis Landry, MVS, or Treylon Burks? PPR flex.
I mean, I've been drafting Jarvis Landry in like every redraft league, like my last pick, just because if we're getting the full Winston, I think Landry has some really good PPR upside. So I'd probably start him just to put a little feather in my cap. But I think MVS is definitely interesting, kind of how that third spot is going to run in Kansas City, and like really it's the fourth option after Kelsey and maybe the running backs too. So might not be great. I think by the end of the year, I think we're starting Treylon Burks. I think by the end of the year, but week 1, I'm gonna go with Landry here.
Yeah, I'm everything you just said. Exactly. That's exactly how I think about all that. Peter traded AJ Brown, Elijah Mitchell, and Carson Wentz for picks that turned into Drake London, Ken Walker, and Sky Moore. Am I going to regret that trade? 12-team PPR. Peter, if you're still in the chat, let us know if that's super flex or not.
I'm gonna guess it's in. Well, I don't know what Carson Wentz can get you too much, but I feel like AJ Brown is like going to be Drake London and Kenneth Walker. So Elijah Mitchell for just Sky Moore. I don't know if that's really enough for me. I like going for the rookies. That's cool. I like Drake London. I like Kenneth Walker. I like Sky Moore. I just feel more. The rookies are they're at the end of the day. We don't know how it's going to pan out with the rookies. We kind of know what Elijah Mitchell. We know what AJ Brown, and unfortunately, we know what Carson Wentz is. So I think I'll stick with the players. The known players.
Yeah. So first for this trade, like maybe it doesn't work out for you. But here's the thing, Peter. Keep shoot or shoot. Keep trading. Like don't let this discourage. Even if you feel like it didn't turn out the way that you wanted to, learn from it and make a move next time. Don't let it. And
it absolutely could work out too. Like AJ Brown could be injury plagued continually, like it has been. Right, there's definitely options there. Elijah Mitchell, loses his job. Like that's is he undrafted? Or he's like a 5th rounder. He doesn't really have like the big draft capital behind him. So it's this definitely could still go your way for sure. And I love the commitment and to go in the rookies, and the rookies are fun too, right? Because you get to do a little more research on them. You get to when you're in that spot, you can am I going to pick Treylon Burks or am I take Drake London? Like obviously if you go by ADP, take Drake London, but at least you got a little bit of fun out of it.
Better option than the flex, Michael Thomas or Juju Smith-Schuster?
Ooh, I mean, I've been all about the Juju all night, so I'm gonna stick with Juju. I think this is very close, very close. I think, like you talked about the Winston situation, that could be like 10 targets a game, 12, 15 targets a game for Michael Thomas. But I'm liking Juju on the. I feel like it's more of a sure set.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Juju here too. As much as it kind of pains me, like I like Michael Thomas, but I'm gonna go Juju.
Yeah. I'm backing on Michael Thomas. Like he led the league or he led the fantasy for so many years that it's just not sexy for Dynasty as he was because of the age, but still like potential there to just be like Jameis, throw it to me. Just that's it. Just keep doing it. Don't stop. Like I'll be on the slants. You got me.
Randy wants to know, is Allen Robinson overhyped or do we need to be patient? In other words, if we get a little too excited about Allen Robinson with Matthew Stafford in LA. I didn't.
This hurts me because I was big. I was big in Robinson, and I mean I'm fine with sticking with it. That clearly their offense was not what it was last year. That they were not firing all cylinders, and just it just didn't look good. So. Until I'm a bit like give me 3 weeks and then I can reevaluate. Like I said, like not really super reactionary. So at least give me some sample size to kind of go off of. And if we're looking at the same situation in 3 weeks, then we can be concerned.
And I think there's a good chance that was the worst game he played, right? Buffalo's good. They're very good. Yeah. Like I would put him like maybe the front runner for the Super Bowl, like even before what we saw. And then they went into LA and did that, right? So I would just be patient. I think there's a lot of times where we look back and we're like, oh, yeah, well, Buffalo hasn't allowed, a wide receiver to have more than whatever, like we get to week 5 or 6 and we see the patterns. I just,
And Stafford didn't play like through the preseason really at all because he was like nursing his little elbow thing. So they don't really have like this, he's just looking at Cooper Kupp. He's like, where's Cooper Kupp? There's Skoranek. I know him, they need to get that thing. So maybe it takes a little bit longer than we want, but like it definitely, I wouldn't be, cutting bait yet. It pains me.
PPR flex, Cortland Sutton or Mike Williams?
This is another good one. I think I'll go like Mike Williams here. Just because like we kind of know more known versus unknown. I think end of the season, Mike Williams has just been like so good. And being with Justin Herbert, I mean, Russ would have to be like a line cook in a busy Michelin star restaurant. No, those go slow. In like a diner, just everything going all crazy at once to kind of get to Justin Herbert's level. So I think I'm gonna go with Mike Williams.
Yeah, I like Cortland Sutton, but I can see that side too, especially like the way Mike Williams started off last year. He was on fire. I mean, things cooled off a little bit as they went, and they started using him different. Like there was talk about him being the Michael Thomas of the Lombardi offense, which came from New Orleans, Sean Payton, and I like that. Like I kind of like the idea of that. It's just they went away from it, and his average depth of target was like way different after the first little while. And anyway, I'm gonna be curious to see how they use him. And Cortland Sutton, I'm just excited with everything I've heard about it with him and Russell Wilson. So we'll see. Ron says thanks. I appreciate you there, Ron. He's got one more. Darnell Mooney, Michael Thomas, or Kareem Hunt.
Kareem Hunt's already started this whole thing. I think I'm gonna go with Michael Thomas on this. Like Mooney in the fields could be like very not good. So going into it completely blind here, I'll go with Michael Thomas with Winston. Kareem Hunt I think has some, we'll see what that they're full. I believe if I'm remembering correctly last year, Kareem Hunt came in either suspended or injured. I think he was suspended for 6 games last year to start the year. So we're not seeing their full setup yet. Again, new coaching staff and stuff like that too. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Michael Thomas here.
I'll go with Mooney, and I just hope Fields can
potential
find him.
for sure. Total potential. I think that's like, he's kind of been if it's clicking, like I think he would have been a great pick in redraft for sure.
Peter wants to know Superflex have Mac Jones and Tannehill. I'm not sure what the question is. Oh, he's answering our question from earlier.
Yes, he's answering a question.
Yes. So okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I have been trying.
That was Carson Wentz trade one. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been trying so hard to get rid of my Mac Jones shares. I'm just I'm just scared. I'm just scared, man. Like I'm telling you, this Matt Patricia stuff just bothers me. And it's not like Mac Jones was like super exciting in the first place.
No, he's not. He's a great QB3. I think it was super league.
This feels a little bit tongue in cheek. He says, "I want Gabe Davis on my dynasty team. Is 23 mid first too much for this stud?"
I think 3 firsts is too little.
Yes. Yes, it's too much. I don't want, I don't know.
Would you pay? I mean, let's just put it on. Like, would you? I mean, I think most people would probably pay at this point at 2023 first for Davis.
There are so many wide receivers coming out that I would prefer than Gabe Davis. I'm just not doing it. I get it. I don't know. Look, he was excited to watch on Thursday. Everybody was there, but I'm not giving up this much.
I'm with UCF, so I'm happy to have some UCF players. Like, whenever they do well, I feel good. But yeah.
Joey, PPR flex, Jacobs or Wandale. I think we talked about this, did we?
We talked about Wandale a little bit.
Yeah.
I'll be starting Josh Jacobs though for sure.
Me too. He's got the devil on his shoulder telling him to start Wandale. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Wandale. I like Kenny Galladay.
Wandale's fine. I just I don't know. Give me Jacobs in this situation here. Randy just subscribed. Appreciate that, Randy.
Hey.
Addison loves it. We get new subscribers, and he's happy right now wherever he is. The objective.
He's gonna follow up on Allen Robinson. I don't know if you read that part, but follow up on Allen Robinson week 3. I won't be here, so maybe I will be, but he won't. We'll check back in.
Yeah, Allen Robinson. We'll see about how that goes. I just be patient is my biggest thing. You can't get rid of him at this point. Like I think you just be patient. Gippy, Chris Godwin, Russell Gage, Jahan Dotson, or Josh Palmer.
I think that's Devon Parker there, but I wouldn't be starting Parker or Palmer. I'll go with. Excuse me. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Gage and they're all playing and Julio and stuff like that. I feel like you're gonna say Dotson, but I think I'll go with Godwin if he's playing.
If Godwin's active, I'm playing him in this.
Yeah.
If these are my other options, that's what I'm doing for sure.
That's what I'm gonna say. Yeah.
Well, with that, Adam, I think that's a good place to end it right there. And I think this was fun. Nice little Saturday night preview for everything
Absolutely.
that we have coming up. And yeah, I'm excited to so many things tomorrow that are gonna come up that we're gonna have just completely reshuffle the deck and have brand new things to talk about. So I look forward to our interactions, and thank you so much for joining us. For everybody in the YouTube chat and who asked questions, thank you so much for that. And we love having the chance to hang out with you guys. So, all right, we'll see y'all on the next